Today we're going to talk a little bit about security when I'm boondocking in my van. Class B Roadtrek Zion SRT. Hi everybody. Today I want to spend a few minutes. We are still in Byron, Michigan at our summer campsite, and the van is over here, and here's our RV and our view out to the lake behind us. And we've loved it here, but it's almost time to get ready to think about going home. And on the way home, pretty much we're going to be boondocking every night. So I wanted to spend a few minutes just talking a little bit about safety, security, etc. When boondocking, at least from my perspective. And again, you have to, first thing I'll tell you is you have to feel your own comfort zone and do what is safe for you and what makes you feel safe. Now, one of the things I'm going to talk about today, besides some general tips, is a method of non-lethal weaponry, I guess you call it. A lot of people will say, well, they carry their gun or whatever, and that's fine. I support Second Amendment. I own guns, but I travel a lot across multiple states, like from Georgia to Texas to Michigan to New Hampshire. And they don't all have the same laws. They don't have the same requirements. So what I'm going to show you today is an alternative. They call it less lethal, but in its bare form, it's legal in all 50 states. So we'll get into that in a little bit. First things first, though, let's talk about a few tips, and we'll head on over to the table over here and sit down and chit-chat. Okay, we're sitting down here at the table now. It's nice and sunny out, and you may hear some chiming sounds in the background. That's actually our wind chimes, which is about 8 feet behind the camera. So if you hear that, that's what it is. Anyway, briefly, you could do a lot of Google searches and on YouTube and get all kinds of opinions on how to be safe and secure in your RV, especially when boondocking. I just want to touch on a few little things relative to motorhomes and Class B vans in particular. I've got a Roadtrek Zion SRT. I have boondocked in public lands. Honestly, I feel quite safe there. I have basically boondocked in campgrounds by not plugging in, and I typically feel reasonably safe there. One of the other places I like to do is Cracker Barrel, and depending on the location of the Cracker Barrel facility and where the parking lot is will determine my security level of how I feel. Walmart's, parking out in the corner of a Walmart parking lot, not my most secure feeling. I have done it. The other is truck stops. Most truck stops I feel pretty secure because there's people all around pretty much all night long, coming and going. So it's not like you're out there alone. What I want to say first is if you come to a location where you plan to boondock and you do not feel safe/comfortable parking there, don't do it. Move somewhere else. You can always find another place, even if you've got to go an hour or so down the road. I highly recommend that. I've done that a couple times myself. Specifically, I have done it in Walmart parking lots twice, I think. And I did have a Cracker Barrel that was kind of in a not great part of town. And I moved down the road about 40 minutes to another Cracker Barrel, which was much nicer, much better lighting, etc. So situational awareness when you go to park. If you don't feel it's right, don't stay. That's number one. Number two, and I don't always follow this one, but once you're in for the night, lock your doors. I don't typically do that in a campground. I always do it in Walmart. So, you know, again, do what you need to feel secure. But that's something I highly do recommend, even though I don't do it all the time, is lock the doors once you're inside for the night. And the other thing, keep your keys close by where you can start the engine, whatever. You just want to hop out of bed and move up to the cab. I've got a little spot I stash them right up by the front end under the dash, and I don't even have to look to find them. It can be pitch black and I know right where to reach and put them in the ignition. Sometimes I've even left them in the ignition. So have your keys readily available so that if something happens and your best way to deal with it is to get away, make a smooth and quick getaway. Safe, secure, no confrontation. Lighting, I do have a porch light system on my van. I usually do not put it on. If I'm in an area where I'm not too shady, I may put it on. I do not put out an awning or anything like that. I try to be as stealthy as I can. I've got curtains to pull across the front and back and the side windows that pretty much somebody's got to find a crack to peek in to even see a light. So they don't really know I'm there unless I'm making a lot of noise. So keep that in mind when you're out there. Situational awareness: if you don't feel safe, move. Lock your doors once you're in for the night. Keep your keys in a position where you can quickly move to cab and start the engine. That's my major recommendations. There's lots of other options you can do. I mean, if you're towing a trailer, I recommend, if you're boondocking for the night someplace, don't disconnect it. Keep it all hooked up. Same thing. You'll have to exit the trailer to get into the vehicle to exit the situation, but at least you don't have to try to hitch the thing up in the middle of the night to get out of Dodge, so to speak. Anyway, give that some thought. Search Google. There's a lot of information there. I'm just kind of feeding you food for thought. So now let's take a moment and move on to the other subject, which is non-lethal weaponry, or less than lethal. Okay, moving on. There are many different products out there, and again, I am not against firearms. I own them. I support the Second Amendment, all of those things. But every state has different laws. Some states you don't want to get caught with a firearm in. Some it's extremely restrictive to even be able to own one, let alone travel with one. So, and I know some people break the rules. They're going to be secure come heck or high water, and that's fine. Do what you feel comfortable doing. This is an alternative. They're basically called launchers. They are technically legal in all 50 states, though I think like California, they come in multiple colors, like an OD green, black, dark gray, and then they come in other colors that are more like orange and yellow. I think California has restrictions on the color. It can only be like the orange or the yellow in these types of devices. They are not classified as firearms, though they look like one. They are classified as launchers. And what I have is the Burnup. It's the one I selected for my purposes. There are other ones out there. You need to look at what you need for your purposes and what you're comfortable with. I got the Bernie in orange specifically, so if I am confronted, a law officer is going to see that. No, it's not a regular firearm, whereas the OD in the black may give it a different course. Now, looking at this still photo here of the case, my launcher came with 3 pellets, balls if you will, or ammunition. One is what they call kinetic, which is a hard, administers pain when you get hit with it. One is an inert, which has typically a white, almost like a talcum powder. It's for practicing. You can shoot at a target, and you can see what the spray pattern is with the material that's inside the round. And the other one is what I really call the live rounds. In the case of myself, I got the Byrna Pepper. Now there's a Byrna Max, which actually combines pepper and tear gas, which is considered more powerful than this. That's not legal in all states. And currently I'm in Michigan. It's not legal in Michigan. So I bought the Byrna Pepper rounds with my kit. I can buy the Byrna Max in Georgia if I care to when I get home. Unit comes with 2 magazines. They say the 3 different types of rounds, and 2 CO2 cartridges. Now these are 8-gram cartridges. There's a couple ways to be able to use, I think are they 12-gram or something like that, with the weapon, but I will show you mine here. This is my orange Byrna, has a safety on it, and we will go in here and we will pop this out. That orange is just a marker to know where it is. There's no ammunition in it, and this is down, so there's no ammo in here. Now what I'm going to do, just for a quick test, and you can get most of this on the internet and a lot more than this, and you can see the effect of the rounds, and you can see how the weapon operates, and you can see a little more about how to use it specifically. But you load the rounds in here. This just goes in, and if you'll notice, this has flipped up to indicate there is a round in the chamber. So this is a loaded weapon now. I have a CO2 cartridge in here. One of the things I like about the CO2 on this weapon, when you're on safe, the CO2 is not pierced. You're not losing any gas. It's going to give you full power. And if you pull the trigger while you're on safe with a fresh CO2, it will then pierce it, take it off safe, and now you're firing rounds at maximum potential. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to take this out, take the magazine out, and this is still up. What happens is one of the balls is retained up there, so I press this, I don't know how this will show up, and the ball pops out. So now this is completely inert, empty, no longer a problem. As I said, it comes with 2 magazines. You can load them with whatever you want. Okay, the weapon is empty, the magazine is empty. I'm returning it back to the case. So that is the Byrna. There are many others on the market. This will fire a mixture, as I say, of kinetic, which is a painful round. It's like getting hit with a very hard paintball. Or you can fire the pepper rounds, which they will burst upon impact, and basically spray a pepper powder into the air, which is going to theoretically incapacitate the person who's meddling with your site, your area, or whatnot. Unlike a regular firearm, this is not going to penetrate through the walls of your RV. It could break a window, will put a dent in on kinetic, but it will not go through the walls and possibly hit somebody else. So that is one positive of this, plus the legality, plus it's not lethal. I mean, I don't know what to say other than I am now providing myself some protection, or a deterrent, if you will. Some people load them with a kinetic round and then a couple pepper rounds. They hit the person with a kinetic, and this has a range of 60 feet. So you can be sitting outside and somebody coming to hassle you in a parking lot, and excuse me, you can be sitting outside in a parking lot and somebody come to hassle you, and with that 60 feet range, you can pull the weapon, you can tell them to stop, and if they don't, you can hit them with a kinetic round, which is going to hurt, and if they continue to come, then you nail them with the next couple rounds with your pepper rounds, and that should put them incapacitated if you hit them somewhere in the chest and they get that pepper in their nose and nostrils and mouth. So there's a lot of videos that show the effect of the pepper online, so I'm not going to go into all of that. I just wanted to show you a basic alternative. If you don't care for firearms, or you're nervous carrying a firearm because you're traveling through 12 different states and they all have different laws, this is a viable option, whether it's a Byrna or some other brand. So just give it some consideration, do some research, see if it's for you, but also keep in mind situational awareness. Lock your RV at night when you go to bed, and make sure you've got access for a quick getaway when you're boondocking. And if you're not comfortable with the spot you chose, don't stay. Go to another one. If you feel uneasy, trust your gut, I guess is what I want to say. So anyway, take care. I hope this gave you a little something to think about. As I say, we're getting ready to go through a whole bunch of states, including Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, down into West Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, working our way back toward Georgia. So we will have the Byrna in the van. If we're in a remote location, we will be locking the doors and going from there. So take care. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe or like or share it, and hopefully check out some of the others on the travel videos, because we do travel a lot in our Freedom van. So take care. Catch you down the road a piece. Bye-bye.